Deciding to buy a second-hand car can be quite daunting. I mean, you're never quite sure if you're driving off in an absolute bargain or a total bombshell. And a visit to a used car dealer's can confuse you even more. I mean, fancy not being sure about exactly what kind of car you want and then being faced with this choice. So today I've come to Carcraft, one of the largest second-hand car dealers in the country. Now, they sell around 8,000 cars a year. And I'll be talking to some of the men and women who are supposedly in the know and finding out what they picked out as the best of the bunch. The director's PA is Mrs. Kathy McKee, and she drives a BMW 750. I put it to her that it was a little unusual for a PA to have such a top-of-the-range model. How did she do that?
Well, it wasn't actually my choice, it was my husband's choice, because he drives a sports car that's only got 2 seats and we have a young daughter, so we needed a family car. So he really chose it and sort of said, what do you think, would you like it? So I just said, yes, fine. So it arrived and it was massive.
Yeah, it is quite a large car. So have you got used to the size now? Has that been a bit of a problem?
I think it's very easy to get used to the size of a car, whatever size it is.
So you've got over those first panics of going to the supermarket and thinking, how am I going to park it? Well, there seems to be an awful lot that you really like about it. What about things that you're unhappy with? What would you change about it?
The only difficulty I actually have, like we've said before, is the parking. But I've actually got used to it fairly quickly and it doesn't actually worry me anymore. There's absolutely nothing I don't think about this car that I'd actually change.
What about other features on it? Because this is what the car's really known for, isn't it? It's got an abundance in there. What else has it got?
It actually has a television monitor in the front, which actually allows you to watch television when the car's stationary. So if you're sitting in a traffic jam or you're waiting in a car park, you can actually switch the television on and watch your favourite programmes. It's also got a built-in telephone, but you don't actually need to use the handset. You can use the screen also and have your telephone numbers programmed in.
So this time it's your choice totally. You know, you can go out and choose a car, not your husband. What would you go for? Would you go for something similar or would you go for a 2-seater sports car yourself?
I'd probably still go for something similar because I've got a young daughter. We need a big car. I need the boot space for the pram, etc. I'd probably go for something like this. The only thing that probably compares to it would be probably an S-Class Mercedes, but it doesn't have all the extras that this car has, so I'd still probably go for the BMW.
When you first come into contact with the BMW 750, you realise it will leave you wanting for nothing. Well, in the technology department it won't. The 750 oozes power and its handling at speed is good, which is true of all the 7 Series, especially the 740. The only complaint being the lack of feel from the Servotronic steering wheel on those bends, but it will be easy cruising up and down the motorway. At the bottom end of the range is a 7 fitted with a 2.8-litre 6-cylinder engine. Performance is no more than adequate, but the cheapest 7 comes well equipped and is keenly priced, and there is the option of manual or automatic gearbox. At the other extreme, you have the 750, with its 5.4-litre V12 engine. Not only is it incredibly refined, but it will get you from 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds, with a top speed of 155 miles per hour. Not bad, eh? The styling may remain conservative, but it's when you're in the car that you realise the boast that there's comfort and computer power in it to equal that of man's moon missions. From the advanced traction control to the impressive monitor that controls the phone, the stereo and acts as a television, it's all eye-catching gadgetry. And if that's not enough, there's a new navigation system being introduced. It's certainly got the technology, but compared to its rivals, it's not as quiet or smooth a ride as the Jaguar or the Mercedes equivalent. Graham Hamill is a sales executive at Carcraft and he drives a Toyota Previa. I asked him what the main reason was for choosing this vehicle.
Automatic gearbox with overdrive, power assisted steering, electric windows all around, twin sunroofs, electric mirrors, it's virtually everything. There's nothing it doesn't want for.
Graham, the first thing that strikes me sitting up here in the cabin is the height that you've got. You can see so much, can't you?
It's superb. You can see where you're going, where you've been, and the children love it as well because you can see out. Believe it or not, they don't get travel sick.
You weren't exaggerating when you said that it seats 8 people and it would seat 8 people very comfortably.
It is an 8-seater. It's a genuine 8-seater car.
But a comfortable one as well.
Very, very comfortable, yes. With room for luggage or picnic baskets, golf clubs, everything will fit in the back as well.
You say there that there's nothing wrong with it. That's quite a big statement. There must be something that you're unhappy with about the car.
It's very difficult to fault it. It's a little bit heavy on fuel, but apart from that, it's superb.
Plus, of course, I get ridicule from the staff from using it. When I could use a BMW or a Mercedes or something a bit sporty, they find it a bit unusual and call me the old man for wanting to use something like this.
Nah, but everybody goes for the flash cars, don't they?
Well, they all do, yes. But I'm married, 2 children, I don't need anything flash.
Okay, if you had an unlimited budget, I mean, I'm sure you must see so many cars. What would you go for? You know, totally unlimited, you could choose anything. What would you have?
Unlimited. I probably actually wouldn't go for a new car at all, a newish car, buy maybe an E-Type Jaguar and a motorcycle.
The Previa's main strength is its capacity. Even with its 7 or 8 seats occupied, depending on which model you've gone for, there's still plenty of room for passenger baggage. Practicality is marred, however, by a sliding door on one side only, and by seating versatility that's limited compared with that of its many rivals. When driving the Previa, you do enjoy the elevated view and good ride, but because of its size, it doesn't handle well on winding roads. And what's more, town parking can cause problems, with the Previa's bulk being a handful to manoeuvre. Inside, the cabin does give you that space-age feel, and the instruments are within easy reach. The seating is comfortable, and it's not hard work on those long journeys, with the 133 brake horsepower 2.5-litre engine better suited to those long cruises. But watch out, fuel economy is poor. Its strong build, image and ample space means the Previa should continue to fare well, despite the influx of newcomers. The senior sales executive is Rod Howarth, and he chose a Vauxhall Omega as his company car. Rod, you're one of the senior salesmen here, so what sold you on the Omega here behind us?
Well, basically, when I'm choosing a car, I have to consider that I have a long-term back problem, and the Omega that I've chosen has an automatic gearbox. It's particularly important because if I keep pressing a clutch down too many times, it aggravates my back problem. So the Omega is a nice large car which has large doors, it's easier to get into, doesn't aggravate my back, and of course the automatic gearbox.
What about the bad points? Is there anything negative, anything that you think Vauxhall are doing wrong?
I think that if I'd chosen a car with bad points, then I shouldn't be in the job I'm in. So no, I'm quite happy with the car. It doesn't have any drawbacks at all as far as I'm concerned.
That's a good comment there. Do you get blasé with cars in the job that you're in?
I'm afraid so. Having been in the motor trade for maybe a quarter of a century, cars don't turn me on anymore, I'm afraid. I do like to see an old car that's been really well looked after, but modern cars, no. It's a way of earning money for me.
There have been problems with the Omega early on in its life. Faulty speedometer, reverse gear slipping out, to name but a few. But the teething problems seem to be behind it now. The Omega looks good, but unfortunately the impressive bodywork doesn't carry through to its interior, where an odd blend of shapes undermines its functional appeal. There's a driver's airbag, anti-lock brakes, and seatbelt pre-tension is fitted as standard. There's also adequate head and legroom in the back and front. But the driver's position is spoilt because of the lack of steering wheel adjustment. Be it saloon or estate, the Omega drives well, and is a good second to the major competition. I can't believe it. I've been here in a used car supermarket all day long. I'm about to go home, and I haven't been hassled about buying a car once.
How can I help you?